And this is in relationship to Biden's son's legal troubles, guys. Now, the president, Joe Biden, has blasted Donald Trump for his claims that the verdict in New York was rigged. You guys heard this, right? Donald Trump has been blasted by Biden for his claim saying that the New York trial was rigged. Now, I'm willing to bet that a lot of people have varying opinions on this particular Donald Trump trial in New York, the hush money trial. Some people are saying that the trial was rigged. Other people, Democrats tend to think that, hey, Donald Trump got what he deserved. But whatever you happen to think, let me know what you think in the comments down below. But get this, guys. Joe Biden even called into question the intellect of MAGA Republicans who are now saying that the court proceedings in New York was nothing more than a show. This was a show trial. And that they already knew that they were going to be charging Donald Trump, but they had to go through the proper steps so as to show the public that the due process was done. Now, again, a lot of people are saying, Joe Biden was behind this thing the whole time. Trump supporters are saying that Donald Trump got screwed from day one. I mean, I know it's a little bit controversial, but I try to show both sides here. But get this, guys. Biden is now saying that Donald Trump, along with his supporters, should just accept the guilty verdict. Hey, what's done is done. Dust your hands of it. Send Donald Trump to jail. This is what Joe Biden wants. But true Trump supporters are like, no, there will be rioting in the streets if you send Donald Trump to jail. Which brings me to a very dangerous game that President Biden is playing right now. Okay, guys? So in a recent interview, President Biden, he was asked about his son, Hunter Biden's own trial in Delaware. And when asked if he would intervene, given that he's the president of his country, he said that this wouldn't be the case. Biden says he's not going to intervene. Now, his body language from this footage, it says a lot because he looks extremely pissed being asked these questions about his son, Hunter Biden. Now, some critics are saying that this is because there's a lot of evidence that's now coming out against the first son. Now, how many of you guys think that Hunter Biden is guilty? How many of you guys think that there's enough evidence that's come out about Hunter Biden that he should have been, on trial? He should have been convicted. Or do you think that, maybe Hunter Biden didn't do anything? These are just false accusations. Let me know what y'all think. By the way, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for the video. Also, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. But here's the thing, guys. Even if Hunter Biden is found guilty, then the president, he'd have to eat his own words. And not only that, but Biden, he would have to accept the guilty verdict of his own son, Hunter Biden. Take a listen.
As we sit here in Normandy, your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Okay. Lucas Tomlinson is live in Wilmington with the latest for us. Lucas, what can we expect in court today?
Well, Ainsley, we can expect 2 additional witnesses to be called this morning, a drug expert and an FBI chemist. And then the prosecution is expected to rest its case later this morning, and the defense will pick it up after lunch. Now, yesterday, the star witness was Haley Biden, the widow of the state's former attorney general, of course, the other son of President Biden, Beau Biden. Now, there were Hunter's sister and his mother, and Hunter, of course, there was his former lover. They were also, Hunter and Haley Biden they were also very textually active and did crack together. Let's show one exchange one day after purchasing that handgun. Haley says, quote, "Why won't you answer my calls? Where are you? Are you with someone?" Hunter, "Yes, Bernard, who hangs out at 7-Eleven on Green Hill in Lancaster. I'm now off Maryland Avenue behind Blue Rock Stadium waiting for a dealer named Mookie." Of course, Blue Rock Stadium, that's home of the Nat Washington Nationals high A affiliate. But anyway, this video from October 23rd, 2018 shows Hallie Biden, the widow of Delaware's former attorney general, who locked up drug dealers for a living, of course, guys, stashing that 38 caliber Colt Cobra revolver in a trash can outside a local gourmet market just a few miles from here. And a gun Hunter had just purchased 11 days prior. Here's a photo of that revolver that was shown to the jury inside the courtroom here yesterday. Asked by the prosecutor if it appeared that Hunter was using drugs around the time he purchased the gun, Hallie said he could have been. But then later...
Whoa. So Hunter has lied on this federal document to apply for a gun? Like, come on, guys. What would happen if me or you applied for a gun, lied on this federal form, and then the news comes out, or, someone ultimately finds out that you lied on this document? What do you think would happen? Would I go to jail? Would you go to jail? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Quick shout out and thank you to James Reese, aka James Burning Waters. Appreciate you, brother, for the massive $20 super chat. Thank you so much. James Reese says, Ron Yates and Stephen Gardner for Congress. We need good men like you two. Man, I totally appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you so much for your support, my brother. Happy Saturday, and all nothing but blessings to you and to your family. Totally appreciate you. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with this promise from President Joe Biden, though. Forget the fact that if me or you lied on some federal form to get a gun and they find out about it, we would have been thrown under the jail, probably, right? But here's the thing with the promise from President Joe Biden. And this is something that Donald Trump doesn't believe. Donald Trump thinks that Joe Biden, all he does is lie all day. Very few times does he actually speak the full truth. We already know what he and his son are trying to do with all this money that they're sending to the Ukraine, right? And their hidden businesses that they've got going over there, right? Some folks call it a laundering scheme, but I'm not going to get into that here. Here's the thing with this promise from President Joe Biden, right? Some people think that he already knows what the verdict is going to be for Hunter Biden. This is the problem. Much like how Joe Biden knew Donald Trump would be convicted of a felony in New York, right? You see what I'm saying, right? Because according to him, nobody's above the law. No one is above the law, right? At least this is what we're led to believe. Now, if the impossible happens and Hunter is found guilty, then this would put President Joe Biden in a very tough spot. Because but here's the thing. Do you guys think that Hunter Biden would even be convicted in Delaware? I mean, who knows, right? I mean, maybe it actually could help the president in his fundraising attempts, right? I mean, look at what it's done for former President Donald Trump, right? So Trump, he raised more than $200 million in just like 3 days after he was convicted. Although there's a big difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The biggest difference is that a lot of Trump supporters feel as if Donald Trump is actually innocent. A lot of Biden's folks kind of actually think that, Hunter actually is guilty. So there's a big difference there. And I think a lot of Trump supporters probably also think that Hunter Biden is guilty as well. There's a small minority of folks out there. Maybe you're one of them. I don't know. Some folks think Hunter Biden is innocent. But I'm willing to bet there's probably a smaller amount of those people who think Hunter Biden's innocent. But what do y'all think? But here's where things get really, really interesting, right? So the president he's going all in on his fundraisers. The level of desperation at this point is just unbelievable, guys. The level of desperation is just so silly. What Joe Biden him and his campaign department are willing to do at this point is just, it's out of sheer desperation, right? So President Joe Biden, he's now going all in on his fundraisers, right? President Biden is attending a Hollywood fundraiser with George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Jimmy Kimmel, and former President Barack Obama. What in the world is with Biden getting all these Hollywood celebrities to like show support. Who was the guy he had out there in Manhattan across the street from Donald Trump's trial? The old guy from Meet the Parents. It was, with Ben Stiller, Robert De Niro, I think. So he had Robert De Niro trying to talk up a good game for Biden. But basically, Robert De Niro, he was just like reading the script. Who else did he have? There was another celebrity he had talking, trying to amp up the crowd and show support for Joe Biden. But anyway, Robert De Niro, he's the only guy I can remember right now. But I swear there's another guy. But anyway, the outlook now is basically he's been, he's trying to make up the amount that he's trailing Donald Trump at the moment. So again, it's more evidence of desperation. What's going on, Catalia? I see you in the comments. And so, there's something that's happened that shows that the president means business, right? Now, this event is going to clash with another event in his schedule. And this is kind of funny because it actually clashes with Joe Biden's best friend. Maybe they're cousins in another life or something like that. But basically a peace summit that was organized by one of his best friends, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. So instead of him going to the summit in Switzerland, Biden is instead sending Vice President Kamala Harris and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Now, what do you think is going to happen? You send Vice President Kamala Harris instead of Joe Biden to meet up with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Is Kamala Harris going to screw this thing up? Is she going to do a better job than Joe Biden would with this interaction here at this summit in Switzerland? What do y'all think? Some people say Kamala Harris is just as screwed up as Joe Biden is. She's just younger and a woman. Some say that might actually be better than Joe Biden. She may actually be better than Joe Biden. I don't know. I'm not sure what you guys' take is on this one, but yeah. So Kamala Harris, she's being sent in lieu of Joe Biden because now Joe Biden wants to hang out with the stars. Can you imagine Joe Biden dancing with the stars with his stiff posture and whatnot? Anyway, so Joe Biden, he wants to hang out with Hollywood. And as you guys could probably tell, Zelensky, he's a little bit pissed. He's a little cranky. He's like rolling on the floor. He's got a temper tantrum going on right now because Joe Biden won't hang out with me. He's going to send Kamala Harris instead. So anyway, he's actually being reportedly saying that basically Ukraine was angered by this decision from the White House to send Kamala Harris instead of Joe Biden, which really says a lot when we're the ones who are actually funding their operation. Like, we're sending Zelensky billions upon billions of dollars, right? And this dude, he's over here like barking and basically being with a bad itching, if you know what I mean, about Biden not showing up and sending out Kamala Harris instead. Whatever, dude. You're still getting our checks. So Zelensky, he was quoted in saying that Biden's absence in the summit is like a gift to Vladimir Putin. Word? Really? He even had his aides pass a memo to pressure both President Joe Biden and China's President Xi Jinping to attend this event. Like, the balls on this Zelensky guy, right? I mean, like, you gotta love the confidence of Zelensky to be calling out world leaders like this. Like, Xi Jinping, Biden, get your butts over to my Switzerland convention. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but what do y'all think about this? Like this Ukrainian anger. Like, what are your thoughts on this, right? Is it because Kamala Harris won't be able to promise him billions of dollars of more of our taxpayer money? Or do you think that he would just rather just kind of like shoot the shit with Joe Biden instead of Kamala Harris? Anyway, but it's also kind of alarming that the president, he's not more interested in a peace talk, right? Like, think about this. And I can't be the only one who's thinking about this. Why isn't Joe Biden interested in a peace talk? I mean, we already heard multiple times from Vladimir Putin, that he's interested in a peace talk. But Biden's not entertaining this. Why is he not entertaining this? Right? Like, is it just because they're making so much money funneling all this money to the Ukraine? Is it because the war businesses, like, I don't know, maybe Boeing or Lockheed Martin and all these other war manufacturing businesses are making so much money as a result of these wars taking place? I mean, why do you guys think that Biden is clearly not interested in a peace talk? Like, he'd rather send more money over there than to just try to like settle things, right? So this, of course, has a lot of critics saying that he's actually in favor of keeping this war going. He doesn't want the war to stop. And here's another thing. Donald Trump said that he could stop the war within 24 hours of becoming president. Do you guys believe Trump? I mean, Trump didn't start any wars while he was in office. In fact, if you guys remember, Biden, quiet as is kept, Biden was actually telling us, like, trying to get everyone, America, to be afraid of Donald Trump, saying that Trump was going to be starting wars, Trump's going to have a dictatorship. And, but if you look at the record, Trump didn't start any wars during his presidency, but Biden did. He started, multiple wars started under Biden's presidency, right? And then a lot of people are really upset about how Biden exited Afghanistan. That got a lot of people fired up under their buns about how that exit took place and all the aftermath of that. So anyway, and get this, Biden, tucked his tail in between his legs and basically apologized to Zelensky for the delays in military aid. It's like, whoa, dude, how are you like the leader of the free world? You know what I'm saying? That's not making America look strong. So, a lot of MAGA supporters are like, yo, like, get this guy out of here. You're killing us. You're killing the country. You got the borders wide open. You got illegal immigration just running rampant. And then you sign this BS bill the other day that's really not going to do anything, for immigration, illegal immigration. But anyway, so the president then went on and he pinned the blame on Republicans, but basically promised that the United States weapons are now on their way to the Ukraine. Now, it's not just the weapons that are going into their country. France, look at France, guys, right? Like, France is a NATO nation, by the way. France plans on sending fighter jets to the Ukraine with trainers who could teach basically Ukrainian pilots on how to use them. So basically, training is expected to begin by this summer. And French President Emmanuel Macron, he said that he's expected that the Ukrainian pilots are going to be ready to fly by the end of this year. Now, Putin's not all that happy about this. Putin, on his end, he said that this is an escalation of the war, especially as NATO troops will be on the ground. Biden, in connection with Emmanuel Macron, look like they're about to start World War III. Now, if you think about it, if Biden ends up starting World War III while he's in office, he could very well invoke this particular law that would enable him to stay in presidential power. In other words, if the United States is involved in a war, President Joe Biden could remain in power. And this could be another sneaky, underhanded tactic or strategy to remain in power, because he knows Donald Trump will probably beat him in 2024 for the presidential election. So you got to pay attention to what they're trying to do here, guys, because again, nothing but distractions here. And they'll try to sneak this in, and the American people won't even realize what's happening. But this now raises the possibility again that another world war is coming, right? So this has a lot of folks on edge right now. And it's also worth noting that the U.S., through President Biden, has given the Ukraine, the green light to strike targets inside of Russia. If this is not an escalation going toward World War III, I don't know what is. I don't know how many of you guys listen to Canadian Prepper, but I swear he predicted that this next world war would be starting, and it's going to happen before we know it. Now, this news was not met very well within the circles of Donald Trump, guys. Okay, so Trump says that we are headed toward World War III with President Joe Biden. That is a very, very scary prediction. This is a very scary prediction that a lot of folks are concerned about. EMP strikes, EMP attacks, that's nothing compared to what we could face in the event of a World War III beginning with President Biden, right? And so this is why one of his campaign promises is that if Donald Trump is elected, he's going to get rid of all these wars. So this is why a lot of folks who are really concerned about the possibility, they're like, hey, either they're independent or, maybe they're a Democrat or historically have voted Democrat. They're like, hey, we don't want these wars. We don't want more lives being lost. Nobody wins a war, really, right? The people don't. And the jacked up thing is that it's the world leaders that send innocent people to war to fight battles that really could ultimately have been resolved with a phone call. And this is what President Trump is campaigning on. Like, guys, use your words, right? Now, of course, the former president says that the United States funding other people's wars is just pulling our country, the United States, into a greater conflict. And if he's put back into charge, Donald Trump says that he's determined to restore peace and stability within our country and beyond. Now, I want to ask you guys, what do y'all think about, peace? Like, are you for peace, or do you think that we should be out here fighting all these wars trying to conquer other countries? Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Are you guys in favor of President Biden's approach to keeping funding the Ukraine in this war? Or do you think maybe Donald Trump is right and these wars should be ended? So, I know we got a lot of different opinions in here, but I always like to throw these scenarios at you guys, because I swear we got the sharpest people here in this audience. You guys are some smart individuals, and we're going to decide what's going to happen come November. So, by the way, if you haven't already, please hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel. Totally appreciate you guys. Sam says no more war. Let's see. Joanna Mazur says that reason alone will get me to vote for Trump. Wow. That's big. That's real big. Matt and Robin's Carp Adventure says Trump whoppers are you? Let's see. No more war. Okay. Okay. F Home 2C says war is a racket. Smedley Butler. Okay. All right. So a lot of folks are not a fan of these wars. Look at it. Yolanda Wirt says wars should be ended. Let's see. Freedom Man says Hunter should be under the prison. Jeez, man. But yeah, guys, this is what we're looking at. So anyway, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Please check out my previous videos that I have released. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. I totally appreciate you guys. I've got so much more fire content to drop on you guys, and truth for my truth seekers. I totally appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your help again, Katalia, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.